to do my talk, finish up on there's no such thing as business ethics and doing unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And I post my talks not just to Facebook but to LinkedIn and YouTube as well, just to try to increase the reach of people, and also because it gives me the opportunity to learn new AI skills. And I'm sharing my data with Microsoft. You can opt in if you want to share your data so that they can use it to improve the tools and the things that are available on YouTube. So I'm doing that. I think I chose Google as well. There's a few companies that you can choose. There's a list and I chose a few. So if people are interested in doing that, they can do that as well. And now it's about 3 years since I was falsely reported missing. And, you know, obviously I'm aware, I keep aware of my surroundings, what I'm doing, but it's nice to have my freedom back. I learned a lot from my mother. She does a lot of things on her own and she doesn't tell me where she's going, what she's doing. She's been to the oratory without telling me. She's been on holidays. They have family gatherings without me. So I've learned from her. And I do a lot of things on my own. When I went to the Sting concert, I didn't tell them, and I don't have to. And the good thing about building up your relationships in this country or building up your reputation is that it helps you when something like what happened to me happens, when I get accused of being fixated and obsessed with people, because it's really not true. And I know the police are on my side. There's some people, even in my church, who say, oh, she doesn't have the support of the police. Yes, I do have the support of the police. And I follow the guidelines of whatever they are giving me. And so far, they haven't steered me wrong. I disagree with them on that psychiatric assessment and making me do it. But I didn't have a choice. So when people comment on my posts and they tell me what their opinion is, the police told me just to delete it because those posts should not be commented on. People can contact me on WhatsApp if they know me or message me. And so that happened today with one of my LinkedIn posts. When I posted my reflection, I got a message from somebody, Tara McKilvany, saying that, oh, this company is hiring if you want to apply, and I suggest you tone down your speech, although I agree with you. So I just blocked her and I deleted it because I have a whole team of people that I can connect with, that I can ask for guidance for on my speeches. I have people that I can say, this is what I'm doing, this is how it's going. And I know that my posts are working because people are watching them, people are liking them, people are sharing them. So I'm not really going to listen to somebody who doesn't even know me and who thinks that she thinks I should tone down. One of the things we do when we learn how to advocate, when we learn how to reach out to MPs, is we learn how to make our message impactful. So we can change it according to our personality and our experiences. They give us guidelines. And with the new program that we're on, we sign up for a year. Before, once you signed up, you could sign up and you could come back and leave at any time and just come back. You didn't have to attend a certain number of meetings a year. You didn't have to take screenshots of what you were doing and send it in. But it's changed now. So they have a lot more structure in place. And so that's one of the things that I had to adjust to. But it's the same thing with people commenting on my posts. When I comment on my posts, you'll have stupid people reaching out saying, oh, this is what we think, or we don't agree with you. Well, it wasn't meant for them. That message was sent to a minister or the prime minister or somebody because I'm doing it for me, for a reason. It's got nothing to do with them. If they don't like my views or they don't like my opinions, the police have told me to just block them. delete the comment and block them. So that's what I do. The same thing now, because of this police investigation and the amount of money they spent. Now, before I used to, with family and friends, I used to call them and say, I want to come over. Are you going to be at home? And I would make the plans. And a lot of people don't mind me doing that. But because of this, the way that all of this played out and all the companies that all these past managers got involved and all the family that got involved, now I have to be invited. So when I first came to Canada, I would call my aunt or I would call my godmother and say, oh, I want to come this Christmas. And I'd make the plans and go. And now I can't do that anymore. So I have to be invited. With my friends, yes, it's different. We coordinate. And they'll say, let's get together. Or I'll say, let's get together. But now with the family and with everybody else, I have to be invited. And it's unfortunate because this is not the way that we do things where I come from. But at the end of the day, I have to do what the police tell me to do. The same way they told me to block the emails of relatives and everything after the investigation, I had to do it. Because they're not just telling me like, oh yeah, you might want to do this. They came here and they told me that after I was reported missing. And they still don't know who reported me missing. And obviously for me, it is a frightening thing because when you live here in Canada, you know how Indigenous women get targeted, visible minorities, women of color. And my dad was very dark. He wasn't fair-skinned like me. I'm quite fair-skinned. My dad was dark in complexion. So when people look at his photos, they think he was black. People have even asked me, was your dad black? I say, no, he wasn't black. You get some Indians that are very, very dark. And in our family, we do have people that are dark in complexion. So there's a lot of discrimination that comes into it. But I don't mind people asking me. We are all skin types, skin colors. I don't get offended by it. But this is how we have to do our perception and our thinking in this age of social media. Because we also have to protect ourselves. And it doesn't matter what people at the church are saying. They can think all they like that, oh, the police are not supporting her. If the police were not supporting me, do you think they would have asked me to send all those emails to report what was happening, to go and have that assessment? They sent me for that assessment probably hoping that it would come back clear. But because the banks wouldn't confirm what I was saying was true, then it's like, oh, well, she must have made it up. So it's very important that when we have our jobs, we have our opportunities, we know where we stand with people. And that's why even now, like I applied for a lot of jobs at TD before this news came out. Now I don't want to go and work there because of what they're doing to these 27-year-olds who are on the front lines. I mean, why would you send a 27-year-old to jail when you know the pressure starts at the top? Why would you do that? So, I mean, now I'm trying to find something in non-profit, or maybe Teleperformance might have something else come up that's not on the phones. But that's how I make my decisions. I make it on both the past and the present, the reality of what's happening now, because it's very scary. It's very scary when the banks can send a 27-year-old to jail for setting up what they are saying is shell companies, the same way they sent Boris Becker to jail. It's very frightening. And what happened to Novak in Australia? He did all the right things. He had all the right papers in place. And then when he got there, they took him to court. I mean, if you're spending all that money, you're training, you're leading up to these big events, you get there, you want to play. Obviously, you want to play. If it's me, it's like if I had a concert And I spent all the money, I did all the training, I got everything ready, and then I got there and they said, oh no, this is not right now, you can't play. Do you think I wouldn't fight? I would also fight. So I mean, the longer I look at it, the longer I say, yeah, you know what, it's better if I'm out of it. Because you can't have that kind of relationships. If you're working with people, you need to have trust. You need to know that they know that the police are on your side. They need to understand your place in the community. Like with me, I was a Canada 150 nominee for the volunteering I did with the Jewish community, with the One Campaign in the church, with HRPA. I did it with a lot of organizations. So all of those things help you in this country. And now I'm focusing on building my relationships with the US, because we all know that in time and the way things are going, all the head offices are going to be set up in the US. So the service jobs will be here, the low-paying jobs, the menial jobs, the jobs that you're not going to be able to afford anything. Those are the jobs that are going to be here, just like the job I had. There'll be very few jobs that are at the mid-level and at the senior level. So for those of us who want to do well, who want to own homes and property and want to move forward in our lives, including financially, we have to focus on going to the US or going to the UK or somebody where there's going to be that support for us. We shouldn't be focusing on staying here. And this wasn't coming out now. When I first came to Canada, when I studied and took courses with HRPA, from that time they were telling us that this is what the plans are. The plans are for the headquarters to be in the US or the UK, especially like in the financial hub and the healthcare industries, the main industries, the hubs are going to be there, and then the service jobs are going to be in Canada. So it's not something that's new. It's not something like, oh, this is just happening. It's been planned for years. And if you go to events, if you go to online learning, if you go to things that are being set up, that's where you learn about it. So I would encourage others to go to them, to get involved. There's a lot of free events, but there's a lot of things you have to pay for. Like my membership with the HRPA, it's expensive. It's not cheap. But I renew it because it's a professional designation. You have to work in the interests of the public. You have to be able to keep your hours up, whatever hours you can get for your online learning, your events learning. So that's what I do. And even with my John Maxwell, if I'm not practicing and I'm not putting speeches out there, how will people know that I'm a John Maxwell speaker? They won't know. So I have to do it to promote myself, to get my name out there. And people are watching. People are watching from India. People are watching from the US, from Canada. So there is a hunger, there is a need for what I'm offering. And maybe right now I'm not earning from it, but the money will come. I have to keep at it and I have to persevere. The same with my piano playing. If I'm just playing at home and I'm not getting support in the community, I'm not being invited to play at events, at gatherings, and I have tried to set up events like through Eventbrite. I haven't been successful because I'm just one of thousands of people. So if I can practice my music and put it out there, that's how artists get their break. Because somebody might pick it up, somebody might listen to it and say, hey, you know what, she's pretty good. We have a small gathering, we need somebody to fill in, and then that's how you get your name out. Because there's only so much that my family can do, that my mother can do, that my sister or my brother can do, to say, oh, you know, my sister or my daughter or my niece is a graduate and she's looking for a job and she's an executive assistant. There's only so much they can do, and they have done that. They have tried to put the word out for me. They've talked to people in their communities. Like me, they've talked to their parish priests. So I have to take it to the level where social media, everything is on social media now. So that's what I'm doing. And if people don't like my tone and they want me to tone it down, that's not who I am. So it's obviously not going to be a good fit for me to even look at the jobs that Tara's telling me to look at. Because if you don't like what I'm saying right off the bat, why are you telling me that there's jobs there? I'm not going to even look at that. So I just blocked her and I deleted the message, just like the police told me to do. So it's a learning journey here. It's not easy to adapt. But I mean, if everybody thinks, oh, she doesn't have the support of the police, that is actually not true. It's not true. The police have to be impartial, they have to do their job, and they have to do what is right for me as well as the community. And that is what they tried to do. So if the banks won't confirm, and the airlines won't confirm, and everybody else won't confirm what was happening, that's not my fault. And it's not the police's fault. But at the end of the day, it affects my future. And that's what I'm concentrating on. I'm concentrating on my future, and my future starts today. So do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And hopefully things will change. But for me, I've heard it over and over and over. The future's not here, the future's in America. So I'm concentrating on applying for jobs in America. I'm concentrating on applying for jobs in England, and hopefully I get a break. I mean, yes, if I get something here and that's a good job, then that's good. But at the end of the day, I have to go where I know there's going to be a future for me, and where my life is not continuing to go down into poverty, into contract work it's 3 to 6 months and then you're out of work, you don't have healthcare benefits, and you're educated and you're not appreciated and you're not valued. So that's what I'm focusing on. And that's why I just thought I would share that, because it's important to know, right? If somebody is coming to you right off the bat and telling you they agree with you, but they're telling you at the same time, tone it down, it's not going to work. Why would you even go there? I don't. In the past, I used to say, oh, well, you know what? This person actually likes me. They're reaching out to me. They're trying to give me good advice. But their advice is what is good for them. It's not what is good for me, because they are focusing on their own interests and they're focusing on their own lives. And that's something I had to learn here, is that people focus on their own interests. Where I come from, we focus on the other. We focus on what works for the other, and then when you focus on what works for the other, you benefit as well. But here, people focus on what works for them and their interests, and they adopt that Chinese philosophy where you're looking for a win-win. So it's very different. It's very different to how I grew up, and it can be very hard to adjust to. But we all have to adjust, and we all have to take on board what people are saying, including and especially the police. And, you know, if people are saying, oh, you don't have the support of the police, maybe it's you that doesn't have the support of the police. Did you ever think of that? Instead of going around telling everyone, oh, she doesn't have the support of the police, maybe it's you that doesn't have the support of the police. And maybe I do have the support of the police. You have to think about it.